The only chairman to appear in the English paper more than Ed Woodward is Tottenham's Daniel Levy. Once again, he seems to be hated unanimously. In all honesty, he has to do what's best for the club, and retaining Harry Kane is one of those duties. If you look at Messi's last contract extension, apparently there was the clause where he could leave the club for free at the end of any season. Now, obviously, COVID hit, which made the 2020-21 season go on longer than it was supposed to, and he was forced to stay when it appeared that he was ready to leave. I'm not saying Harry Kane has done what Lionel Messi has done. My point is that when it's time to sign the extension, the player, or more importantly, the player's agent, should include these kind of clauses that are relevant to the specifics of the situation. There are widespread rumors that Sancho had a gentleman's agreement in place, which could have been activated only if the terms of that gentleman agreement were met. Apparently, they weren't met in the last window, which is why Sancho didn't leave. And I'm inclined to say they were met during this window, which is why he signed for Man United. They say Kane has a gentleman's agreement with Manchester City. Honestly, when I hear phrases like verbal agreement and personal assurance, it's a polite way of saying it means nothing. Kane had scored a minimum of 20 goals in each of his previous 4 Premier League seasons prior to him signing the contract extension. That tells me that the heavyweights would have taken note of his progress and surely made contact. That would have given him all the leverage he needed to add clauses into that life-changing contract. Clauses like, if Spurs don't qualify for the UEFA Champions League over 2 consecutive seasons, I can leave for a nominal figure. Or if Pochettino is no longer the manager, then I can leave with him. He has mentioned that he wants to win trophies, so then his contract should have stated something along the lines of, should they be 10 points or 20 points off the title winners at the end of the campaign, it can trigger a buyout. He signed the extension at 25 years of age, which shows that he was willing to commit his best years to Tottenham. This was an incredible display of faith to the club and its fans. There were many other contributing factors to this. He must have thought that Poch would have stayed for a while. They also had begun construction on the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and they made high-profile signings like Lucas Moura and Serge Aurier, both from PSG. I do feel for Harry Kane, but he ultimately signed the contract. He is an elite-level centre-forward. Wayne Rooney left Everton to win titles. Karim Benzema left Lyon to win titles. Robert Lewandowski left Dortmund to win titles. Harry Kane should have known better. Kane opted for his brother to manage him. He went with a family agent to get those agent fees under the guise that he would never leave the club. How familiar is his brother with these clauses? The window closes at the end of August, so we will find out soon enough. Pochettino also signed a contract extension in 2018. So did Davinson Sanchez and crucially Dele Alli. At that point, Hugo Lloris, Jan Vertonghen and Christian Eriksen had already committed their long-term futures and more importantly, their prime years to Tottenham. It seemed like the team for the foreseeable future had emerged and they had a manager to lead them. Poch was so set on his team that he made no signings ahead of and during the 2018-19 campaign, yet he took them to the Champions League final in that very season. You can't get any closer to a major European honor like that. They started the 2019-20 campaign with some strong performances. At the end of matchday 5, they sat in third spot after 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. Following matchday 12, they sat in 14th place and had been knocked out of the EFL Cup by Colchester United. They had also been ripped apart by Bayern Munich, who put 7 past them in London. Pochettino was sacked and replaced by Jose Mourinho the very next day. I think this was the start of undoing the project. Nuno Espirito Santos is currently at the helm. I think he is a great appointment for them. I'm a big fan of his work at Wolves and thought he used Moutinho very well. He reminds me of what Poch did at Southampton before moving to Spurs. In the Nets, club captain Hugo Lloris enters the final year of his contract. I don't think he will renew his contract and may move on to PSG. There is some intense competition for wing-back positions in this club. Reguilon did well last year and showed some good crossing ability. Then there's Doherty, who of course played under Nuno, so I'm inclined to say that he will be moved up the pecking order. Serge Aurier had a starting berth last season, and I'm undecided if he's going to retain this. I thought Ben Davies was going to be a starting first-team player for them, but he's been anything but. Mourinho seems to have fully converted Dyer to a centre-back to cope with Vertonghen's exodus to Benfica, and brought in Højbjerg to replace Dyer in the midfield. I watched Højbjerg throughout the season last year, and I can confidently say his positioning has been astute, following Mourinho's instructions to the T. Højbjerg finished the season with the most fouls in the league last year, with 69. He also made 98 tackles, yet he only picked up 9 yellow cards. Ndombele is the club record signing. He's actually a very good dribbler, he's physical and retains possession. They have Dele Alli, who really needs to hit the ground running. He was frozen out of the squad last year, and I think he learned what it means to be a professional, to respect the manager's decision. I'm sure he will be a regular in the first team this season. I remember watching him under Poch and thinking how effective he was in that final third when given the freedom to run. I remember that goal against Chelsea. Such composure, such finesse. He is a proper talent, and I'm keen to see what he does this season. The hidden gem in this Spurs squad is Lo Celso. I think he is a real weapon if deployed correctly. He strikes me as a very technical player. For some reason, I think he should go to Atalanta. He looks like a type of player that fits in their system. Spurs have signed Bryan Gil from Sevilla, with Eric Lamela going the other way. I think it's a promising sign securing a youth prospect. I think he will challenge Steven Bergwijn for his spot. Son comes into the season fresh of signing a new long-term contract. I think Spurs are going to finish 5th this season. I think Nuno will inject some venom into this team, and they are filled with players raring to go. Whether Kane goes or stays, the likes of Mora, Ali, and Doherty have been caged. They are really attacking players, which given the opportunity, can run riot. Mourinho structured the team so that they only had 2 attacking outlets in Son and Kane. Nuno will have his work cut out trying to undo this. Last year, Kane scored the most goals and registered the most assists in the world's most valuable league. What does that say about the quality of forwards and midfielders in that same league? That they couldn't touch him over an entire season. Leave that. What about your own first team squad? If you're a Spurs player, how do you respond to that? They can all do better. Until we meet again.